everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me for another Bible journaling process video. Today we are journaling week 1 in the Illustrated Faith Advent Devotional Kit, and I am using the second devotional card, which takes us to 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 12 and 13 and 14. And I'm using this card, and I'm actually keeping it very simple throughout this Advent process. That is just for practicality, and also just because I really want to focus on the content and not getting so consumed in the process. Even though I love the process, but I really want to do just journaling the word. So what I'm doing is I am simply tracing the word covenant, which was the title of this devotional card. This particular passage talks about King David and how he wants to set up a house, a temple for God. But God tells him, hey, I have a bigger plan for you. I'm not just going to set up a temple. I'm going to set up a kingdom through you. I'm going to establish a throne through you. Your seed, and that seed is Jesus, because he comes from David's line, will establish the throne of my kingdom forever. I mean, that is so much more than David had asked for. That's so much more than any king at that time could ask for: stability for any length of time, much less for all eternity. And that's what God does for us. He gives us so much more than we could ever ask or imagine through his son Jesus. He gives us a covenant of peace, of love, a covenant relationship. So that's what I'm focusing on here. So I've traced the word covenant simply by tracing the word. I put the card up underneath. You saw me do that. And then I traced it. It was so simple. And then I took the card. I made a tab by punching it out. I took that little gumdrop that says Advent 2, and I cut that out, and I'm going to use that up at the top. I'm now highlighting the verse by using some of my ink. I just stamped it onto an acrylic block, and I'm picking it up with my aqua brush. I'm going to adhere my tab up there at the top. I did write the word covenant kind of in the same script as the covenant that is going across my page. I'm now putting some of the washi tape. Both of these washi's are from the Advent kits. One's the Bible devotional kit and one is the Bible journaling kit, both through Dayspring that you can get, and I will provide those links. This just gives some easy elements. Now, this keeps it pretty much a level 1 page. You could take it to a level 2 or even a level 3. You could do some more painting on the background. You could emboss that word covenant by using an embossing pen, and then that would just make it real pretty. That could add some real flair to it, but I am not about flair. I don't have enough time right now. December is just a busy, busy time as a teacher with school, with my kids' basketball season for both of them. I don't have time to do all that, but I do want to do something in my Bible regularly for this Advent challenge. So I'm just keeping it simple. I am adding a little bit of color over this word, and I'm finding that I didn't wait for the ink to dry quite enough. I'm using the baby wipe and just picking up the ink. As long as you dab it and don't rub, it doesn't smear. But there at the very end, it did smear just a tad because that's where it was the most wet. I probably, and I did at the very end, I should have used a sponge instead of my baby wipe because just that wetness caused it to smudge just a little bit. I'm adding a little bit of color around this this ornament, and I probably should have done that before I adhered it. And then I'm going to do my journaling. I'll add my date, and then that'll be about it. Now, I'm just writing what comes from the devotional card. I'm just kind of putting it in my own words. What I say here is David wants to build a temple for God, but God tells him instead he will build an eternal kingdom through his seed. God promised David something much greater than he even or ever imagined. God establishes a covenant with David, and he has established a covenant with me through Jesus. That is such good news. So I'm taking my Zig marker. This is a little bit of a thicker marker, and I'm just adding a few little embellishments, some scribbles here and there. I'm going to probably keep this element consistent throughout my Advent journaling. It's just a quick, easy way to get something on the page, just a little bit of a finishing touch. I'm adding my date. I'm going to add a little bit of black splatter paint, and that's going to be it, except for a bow. I did make a paper clip bow. I found some really cute, colorful paper clips at Target. This blue paper clip, and I just had some ribbon from my stash, and I tied that. And I do think that I need to go back over this word covenant, because when I went over it with the pigment ink, it lightened it just a bit. So I'm just going back over it just to darken it a tad. And that is the page. So simple. I'm keeping it simple, guys. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures from my day 1 and 2, just so you can see how simple I'm keeping it. It doesn't have to be, there's day 1, it doesn't have to be extravagant. You've seen some of my stuff. I do like to go extravagant, but I'm just keeping it simple here. And I encourage you just to focus on the season and the reason that we are celebrating this season. So give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Thanks so much, and until next time, God bless.